I mean, I feel like I mostly like identify as a woman. Yeah, but I think like we have a lot of different identities. So I'm a woman who's straight. I identify as being like outdoorsy and adventurous, non-religious but spiritual. Yeah, I was thinking about this a little bit when you like sent me the questions, like what do you identify as? And I thought it was interesting, like that woman is like kind of the main one that popped into my head first, and I feel it's like the thing that I identify with the strongest. And I was like, why is that? And I think it's interesting that we have like identities that are outwardly visible and then identities that aren't. So I think maybe I identify with being a woman like the most because that's the thing that like other people can see the most in me. So like when people look at me, they like see a girl. Um, and then like we have other identities that are more hidden and we can like choose to or not choose to reveal those to people. So the fact that I like am spiritual but don't necessarily believe in a religion is something that I can like choose to give out to people or choose not to. But like the fact that I'm a woman is just something that I present myself as like without choosing, I guess. Yeah, I think it's like it's not just like what I don't know. It's more about like who we are and like what we like doing too. Like um I don't know, like someone who enjoys helping others, I'd say is like a strong part of my identity as well. It's like we have identities that are kind of given to us and then ones that we can, I guess, choose to create.
I think first and foremost, in a broader sense, like I always try to think of things broader than than in a narrow sense. Like as I said, a human being, and a living being on this planet, in this existing in this universe, kind of thing. But in a societal way, I would say that what I identify as the most is an expat because I've left my country and I've moved somewhere else. I was born and raised in India, but just the act of leaving, and I left when I was 18. So that's a very formative age, and I left because that was something I wanted to do, and I had the determination to do that because I wanted to learn more about the world. And I think moving to a country is a huge changes you like a lot, and so I don't I don't like I'm Indian ethnically by race nationality anyway, but my experiences are different from the average because I've moved somewhere, and similarly as an expat that's a big community and people have moved here from like various countries and their experience before moving is different, but I feel that my experience has been so shaped by my decision to move somewhere else that I identify with that very strongly. And I think it's also because the people I am closest to, like my friends that I've made, are also expats or like immigrants, like parents are immigrants or second generation. I think that kind of is something that I relate to and something I find similar. So I think that's the identity and most the way I am is partly from the qualities I want, like the curiosity and nature and wanting to know more and explore, but also the places I've been to. So they definitely have an impact. I mean, if I ended up in, say, Australia instead of America, like I would be a different person. So definitely places have a huge impact on you. And I think every place I've been to, I take a little bit of something with me.
I've had like identity crises, I suppose, in my life, as everybody does. Like when you go through changes, like when I left for college, then when I graduated college, and then obviously like the very first one is when you're in high school, and then you like discover the concept of identity, right? And so I think I've never been like as a child, identity was not like important to me. Like identified as Maddie. I was Maddie. I was all like, I guess if we get into like, I was a little girl, but like that didn't even matter to me either. Like I was just a person who had a family and I did things and that was fine. And then you like get older and then I was Maddie the softball player and I was an athlete and I was a smart kid and I was a sister and I was a daughter and then eventually a girlfriend and a friend and like that became my identity. Like where I sourced my identity from was from the people I was surrounded by, if that makes sense. And then when I went to college and like my first year's relationship had ended and I didn't play sports anymore and I was at a college where everybody was smarter than me, I was like, I had none of I wasn't able to source my identity like from places anymore. Like I'll find it like from me, right? Like what do I identify as? So I identified myself as like a sorority sister is what I ended up doing. Or I worked at the call center and so I was a worker. And like those things like brought me joy. I was a civil engineering student and and then I found like new friends that like I was a friend of people that were different from me, which was different from before. So I was like expanding my mind. I was a traveler. I started traveling. There were new things, and I think they were broader things, and that was really cool. And some of the things, my old things had stayed, and then I expanded upon those things. But one thing I've been thinking about lately is like how my identity was always coming from what other people saw me as. Do you know what I'm saying? And so that question, when you ask it now, is harder for me because I've realized that like there's what I think other people identify me as, but that is like my identity. It's my like external identity. And then now I'm trying to think more about like what do I identify myself as in terms of like who am I to those people that are identifying me like from my perspective. Mm-hmm. So like one thing I want to work on is like I want to be like a listener. I want to be love. I want to be hope. I want to be wisdom. I want to be like it's more like I want to be a feeling. And I want to be like that's like what I want my identity to be more of. Yeah. And so that's been like something that's been interesting. It's like identifying again like where I get the words for my identity. Mm-hmm. Where do I get them? Like do I get them from me or do I get them from what other people tell me and like tell me that I am for them?
I guess like being white is also, I didn't mention that before, but I think it's important, like a big part of my identity and like what people outwardly see. But I like being a part of the group of like being a woman. Like I think there's like this amazing community of women and just like being able to be a part of that womanhood is cool. Because it's like sometimes harder to be a woman in our society and like we definitely have certain disadvantages that men don't and other people don't, and so I think it's like something that brings us together. A lot of women are survivors of sexual assault and I am also one of those women, and so like that's a really amazing community to be a part of. And like it sucks that we've all been through that, or like a lot of us have been through that, but it also creates this like sense of like collective understanding that we've all been through something traumatic and that we're able to like be resilient and still like carry on. It is like really amazing because like most of the women in my life have experienced it on one level or another, and we just keep on. So community that I was a part of, like the biggest one in college was Greek life for sure, and being like in Kappa Alpha Theta with you. I keep coming back to the identity of like being a woman, but it was like nice, like being a part of a sisterhood and like having all of the, like being surrounded by such strong women who like have also been through a lot, but you know, have all of these like goals and want to help people and just like make the world a better place. And we're so passionate about so many different things. Like it was really amazing to be a part of that. Choosing to become a part of like the communities that I was a part of in Mozambique was like so life changing because it was a very communal community, and that's like something that I've never experienced here. Like everyone is always working together, like estamos juntos. And like everyone is making sure that everyone else has everything they need. Like as soon as I wake up in the morning, people are like, how are you? How did you sleep? Do you want some breakfast? Everyone there is family. Like they're always just trying to like help you out and, you know, make sure that you're good and you're fed. Most important. Just everyone's constantly offering you food, and it's like, you know, their way of being like, I just want to like take care of you.
Definitely, like as I said, like the expat group. Definitely thanks for a lot of college students because I am a college student. I was until last year. I graduated. Wow, have a good old job.
Yes.
But yeah, I think even when I do meet with people in groups, I find it hard for me to identify with that group. Like I find that there are very few things that I would tie my identity to, because I think it's something that's evolving, and I don't want to be like, oh, I'm part of this, you know, because what if I'm not in a couple of years? Like, I don't want to tie my identity to something temporary, you know, whereas moving a country, you know, that's a permanent thing. Like, I can't, like, I can't time travel and not do that. So I'd rather tie it to things that are permanent than temporary, and that goes with groups too. I think that when people think about why they're here, there is a lot of like emphasis on their meaning in the world and their legacy and what they're going to do. But to me, all of that is just intertwined with your personal relationships and how you would act in a society. Because maybe 50 years ago, you know, even like a discovery or maybe even a scientific discovery could have been done like by one person found it. But today, even every little thing that we do is so interrelated with the people around us, the circumstances. Everything is a collaboration. So I think everybody's purpose in life is to enable and support other people. You know? And I think that is my purpose too. Like, collaborate, come together.
So like now, I suppose like where my identity is drawn from is like I'm an engineer. That's fun. So I'm in that. I'm a roommate. I'm still a daughter. I'm still a sister. I'm a friend. And I'm a Chicagoan, probably so. Finally. Yes. I think those are like the easy things. Those are like the external things. But then when I think of like how I identify myself and like what is like internal, like I'm a lover of like new music, and I'm a walker. I like to go for walks. I love sunshine. I love color. I love I want to portray that. Like I want to like put that out there, and for people to see that's me. And like whether they like take it or not, that's fine. But like to me, those are the things that I am. Yeah. I'm hilarious. I'm a comedy watcher. I'm learning how to be an adult. I'm like I'm transitioning into a new phase. I'm single and happy about it. I feel like that's kind of the groups I'm in the buckets that I put myself in. Yeah. Right now. Not buckets. I don't like buckets. I like the concepts of spectrums, because I feel like on a spectrum you can have like infinite possibilities, where like buckets it's more like separate. It's not as like intertwined. Yeah. So I'm in those spectrums of those concepts. Yeah. I like that.
I feel like, I don't know the first time that someone asked me, but I feel like the first time I was made aware of it, and it was when I was a kid. I don't remember how old I was, probably like 6 or 7, but my whole family was visiting Maine, and we went mini golfing, and my cousin, who's like the same age as me, like went over to a tree and just like peed, and he's a guy, so I was fine, and I was like, oh, I have to pee too, so I like went over to the tree also, and I like squatted down and pulled my pants down to pee, and they're all like, whoa, 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 what are you doing? And I was like, I'm just peeing, like I have to go, and they were like, no, you can't do that in public, and I was like, Devin's doing it right there, like why can't I do it? And they're like, yeah, but you're a girl, like you can't do that, and I was like, oh, why? Like, I don't understand. And I feel like that was like the first time that I realized that like being a girl has different rules than being a guy, because I was like, why can't you do it? Like, we both have to pee. We should be able to.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first, like when I moved to this country, or when I was applying for college applications, like the first checkbox, like what is your nationality or like citizenship and that sort of thing. And then also when like applying for jobs, because I always had to pick would I need visa sponsorship or like things like that. So that definitely, like, not being a citizen in this country has like, it's a struggle, and it's like it's an extra barrier for anything, and that is certainly something that has left enough of an impact on me, because that's going to be a part of my life for so many years from now. So I forgot what the question was. Definitely not when I was in India, because no one asks what your identity is, or maybe they kind of do, because there's like different. They ask like, oh, what language do you speak at home? Because in India is so diverse, and you have so many different languages and different cultures, and each state is so different. So they'll be like, oh, what do you speak at home, or where are you from? And they kind of put you in a different bucket of sorts, because oh, you speak this language, oh, you're from here, kind of thing. And it's funny because in India, even with your last name, you can identify which state a person is from sometimes. So yeah, definitely geographic identity. Yeah. Where your parents grew up, where you are from, but yeah, kind of culturally too, that a little different. Like food is a little bit different. The movies, there's like different movie industries, So yeah, I mean, on the whole, it's similar, but there are tiny differences.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is something that a lot of women go through. I remember the first time that I noticed something about like my physical being, like a category that I'd be put into, and I didn't like it. I remember the first time I thought it was fat. I remember the first time, because I was in dance, and I was like, oh my gosh, I probably was like 10, and my dance teacher was this like very thin, and it was like a hip hop class. Why was I in hip hop class? I don't know, but like I was in hip hop class. Oh my goodness, it was not good at it. But like it was fun, and I remember we were like doing like exercises to like warm up, and we were doing like sit-ups, and I remember being like, oh, I have like a tummy, and I remember being like, oh, I gotta do more of these, and like luckily I am not, I guess, predisposed to being so, like, I think I thought about it, and then I was like, okay, like, whatever. Because I remember, like, how I never thought about, like, being, like, a girl, or being, like, what it means to be, like, our society's definition of feminine, and shapeliness until people told me, it was like what awoke me were those talks that you would have where they're supposed to like combat that. Do you know what I'm saying? So like it'd be like a talk about like, oh, you're beautiful no matter what, because people are gonna tell you that you're ugly, blah blah. And I was like, nobody's ever told that to me before. So there's people that think that about me. Do you know what I'm saying? I never experienced it until people tell me that there was this they. There was this they, and then so that's where again this conversation of in my head of like there's my identity and what I see in myself, and then there's like the identity that I get from other people. And so I got this identity of like I'm a girl, and being a girl means I need to be skinny, I need to look a certain way, I need to act a certain way, because there's other people that are going to tell me that. I don't know where they are yet. I didn't know where they were at that point. And I'm not saying that like that hasn't happened much later in life, but it did not happen when they started having those conversations, and I had never thought about it before. And then I did it to myself. But another time, like another portion of my identity that I started developing was like how people are very like their nationality or ethnicity or like their family lineage, and that's something that's like really important to a lot of people, and that has never been important to me because I have two parents who came from families of different religions, but we didn't grow up with any of them. Like we didn't pay attention to really on that. We did the holidays to see family, we did presents, I learned the basic stories, but it wasn't anything, it wasn't what shaped our moral characters or shaped the way that our parents raised us or the things that I did, the people I interacted with. It was just like there. So I was there was Jewish, and then a like combination of like Christian, Catholic, that stuff. Yes, basically. And we did Christmas, but that was about it. And we did Hanukkah, and that was about it. And also, my dad's family, the Jewish side, is very small. And so we have a small family, it's a very simple family. And then my mom's side, my mom is adopted. And so that side we were very like disconnected with because her adoptive parents died before I was born. And she just like was never really close to them, close to the rest of the family, I should say. So it's from a small family, like I guess with very few influences. So not many sources to draw identity from, and then also both sides don't have strong like traditions or groups. And I'll never forget in like 7th grade when we were asked to make like a weird like a drawing that like represented us that had like all the nationalities that we were. And what I did, I knew that my dad's side was like a combination of some like European stuff, like Austrian, German, whatever. And for my mom, I just put a question mark because I didn't know, and I had no idea. We couldn't even guess because I didn't know anything about her. And that was something that I remember being kind of formative in that it made me curious about other cultures because I didn't have one. I didn't have a culture. And so that was like a moment I remember thinking about identity because I was like, I don't have a place to get one from. I don't have enough to like decide if this is what I want for myself. Do you know if that makes sense? So what it turned into was like again that drawing it from external sources from my family. So that's where like I like got into sports and I was pretty good at that. And so I was the sports player, and I drew a lot from my friends, which were like kind of few. I had very like specific friends. I was never like someone who was friends with everybody, I suppose. But in terms of like I just very much like drew my identity from that.
Thank you for watching Zen Guys Soul Scholars. If you haven't already, please view our intro video to learn more about the intention of our channel. Also, please subscribe to our channel so you don't miss the second half of this video and more interviews and debriefs to come. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook to see our weekly self-reflective questions and the topics of new interviews to come. If you would like to become a Soul Scholar and partake in an interview, email us at zengeistofficial@gmail.com.